And welcome back to this midweek edition of the video newsletter, the week 7 to week 8 edition. Hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. For all those teams that lost, you probably didn't. So let's get right to it. In our week 7 matchups, division week, we saw not many close games, some exciting games. The game of the week, the North Dallas 40 defeated the Underhill account by 81.5. They doubled their score pretty much. Underhill scored 81.2. They lost by 81.5. So the game of the week didn't really live up to the hype, although the game 1A between Steakhouse and the Wreckers definitely did, as the Steakhouse came back on Monday night on the behind the arm of Carson Wentz, who led the Steakhouse to the victory, and now the Steakhouse is 6-1-0. Very impressive for them. Chopintown outlasted the Funk by about 18. And other than that, there weren't really any other significantly close games. Snapped their 2-game skid with a big win over People's Champ. People's Champ has been struggling mightily lately. Uncle Ron's laid it to the Thunder. And the Models got the big win over the Bells, who, like People's Champ, are really struggling lately. So that's pretty much it for the Week 7 recap. The division week, we're starting to see some separation. 2 6-1 teams, so it's pretty impressive. Now, moving on to the high scores. After 2 weeks in a row of the Underhill account winning the high score, we have a new winner this week. His first of the season goes to North Dallas 40 with their 162.70 points this week. Very impressive. The second highest score of the season. So very impressive for them. That's $50 going to them at the end of the season. Very nicely done, Mr. Pasternak. And now to the much anticipated Week 7 commissions poll! Top 2 spots do remain the same. The Steakhouse at 6-1 and the Waffles at 6-1 take our 1 and 2 spots. Tusa back into the top 3 with their big victory over TPC at number 3. The 40 at 3-4 after a huge victory over Underhill jump up from 6 to 4. Very nice move up for them. 40 looking good these last 2 weeks. The Wreckers, after their tough loss to the Steakhouse, only moved down 1 spot to 5 from 4. Tuna, after their sub-90 week, jumped down 3 spots. They moved down to number 6 from number 3 after their 4-game winning streak. So weren't going to win them all, but that was a tough week for them. Chopintown Jaguars score 120 points. It's a miracle. They jump up to number 7 from 11. TPC down to number 8 from number 7. I mean, they probably might have been able to go a little lower, but we kept them at 8. The Funk down from 8 to 9. The Models out of the basement after the big victory over the Bells. They jump up to 10 from 12. Thunder down from 9 to 11. Not looking good for Barco and his Thunder now at 2 and 5. And the Bells, who in the last 2 weeks have put up 2 top 5 low scores. This week they were the lowest score in the league at 73.55. They were at 12. And unless things change quickly, I don't see them moving out of that basement anytime soon. So that's your Week 7 commissions poll. Now, to the Week 7 Bear on Cocaine winner. This one was basically between 2 guys. I saw 2 games, 2 guys, Carson Wentz and Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott for the 40 and Carson Wentz for the Steakhouse. It was tough. Both players scored over 40 points. Steakhouse game was much closer. The fashion in which Wentz did it on Monday night, bringing the Steakhouse back, was very impressive. But Elliott, again, he had the 40 on 3 touchdowns. So I decided to go with Yeah, he was pretty impressive. If you watched all those highlights, he looks pretty good. It's I hate to say it, but Carson Wentz looks pretty good there. He's definitely a tough guy. Got a great arm, and he's looking really good this year. But when you have to choose between two NFC East guys that are not Giants, it's not fun for me to have to do that. But Wentz definitely deserved it, bringing the Steakhouse all the way back. Nice victory there for the Todd. Now, moving on to the Minuteman Award winner. This week was difficult like the past few weeks, but for a different reason, because there were actually a bunch of top guys who didn't really perform. This could have went, I figured, this could have went any way of three different guys. I feel like three different guys could have got this award. They basically could have gave it to anyone on the People's Squad, but I thought this award really came down to Jordy Nelson, Demaryius Thomas for the Wreckers, and Marshawn Lynch for People's Champ. So I took into account closest game, which way it could have went, who could have done it, and I decided to go with Demaryius Thomas. 1.9 points on 2 receptions for 9 yards. Not the day that he was hoping for Olinsky and the Wreckers there. A 16-point effort from Demaryius, and the Wreckers would have won this game. That's obviously a really good game. It's not great, but it's good. But Demaryius could not come through. I don't think this is more about the Denver offense than it is Demaryius Thomas. Believe it or not, I think the Giants may have laid out the blueprint to defeating the Broncos and really shutting them down. And Simeon's not really that good of a quarterback, so it might be a tough go here for the rest of the season. For the Broncos, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on Demaryius. But what Lynch did in his game, I really wanted to pick him because he is such a dope. Check this out.
Nasty hit. Carr jumps to his feet. And Donald Payne said, I didn't like the way you treated my quarterback. Marshawn Lynch actually got his hands on an official. Oh, boy.
The big one, though, is Lynch right here. Does he? Yeah, that. Oh.
No, that's.
He's going to get tossed, I bet. There's a chance he gets tossed.
Yeah, that's the idiot. Running on the field, pushing the ref. So stupid. It's so dumb. I wanted to give him the award just for that, but I didn't. So moving on. That's pretty much sums up what happened in Week 7. Moving on to Week 8, we have some pretty cool matchups. The way I see two games that could possibly be the game of the week, but in no particular order. First game between number 3 Tough Nuts and number 4 40. This is a potential game of the week there. Tough Nuts at 5-2-0, 40 at 3-4-0, but climbing quickly. The second game that I think could have a chance at being a game of the week would be between the number 6 Underhill account at 4-3-0 and the number 2 Waffles at 6-1-0, our second 6-1-0 team. So one of those two games will probably be the game of the week. And the rest of the games where we have number 11 Thunder versus number 8 People's Champ, number 12 Bells versus number 7 Jaguars. Hey, maybe that's the Bells' next win. Number 10 Models versus the number 5 Wreckers. And number 9 Funk versus the number 1 Steakhouse. The number 1 Steakhouse is 6-1-0. So those are your Week 8 matchups next week. The out-of-conference schedule back on the table there. So that pretty much does it for this edition of the video newsletter, the Week 7 to Week 8 edition. Now remember, waivers runs tonight, so if you're going to make a waiver claim, get them in there before you go to bed, or if you don't go to bed, get them in there, before it runs. Be careful of the squatters. They'll be out there. So if you need somebody who you want to get through waivers, who might get through waivers, you're going to have to get up about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning there to make the claim, because the lender, will be there as he's waking up. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I look forward to talking to you again on Friday for the Week 8 matchups. Hope everyone's doing well.